Hey, True Believers England team here. We've got an article to go over here. Marvel and DC shut up money. Comic creators go public over pay. Now, we heard a little bit, and they do talk a little bit about how Ed Brubaker said that he wasn't compensated enough for the Winter Soldier and how he's making more off of a SAG check for cameo in the movies rather than what he got from creating the character. Now, if you read books, I've got it right here. There's a book called Marvel Comics, The Untold Story, and they go into a lot of the creator-owned battles and all that kind of stuff. I get it. I get it. They did sign the check, though. I mean, they did sign the contract, but I think they are way undercompensated. So anyway, let's see what this thing says here. Marvel fans were flying high with the release of Falcon and the Winter Soldier as the Disney Plus series rose to top Nielsen's closely watched streaming chart with 855 million minutes viewed during the April 12th to 18 frame. Yet one person fans were surprised to learn wasn't watching was Ed Brubaker, comic book writer who co-created the Winter Soldier character and whose work helped inspire 1 billion grosser like 2016's Captain America Civil War, made waves with a widely circulated interview in which he expressed dissatisfaction with the Winter Soldier pay, where he said, I made more on SAG I can't talk. Why did I start this video? Residuals that I have made on creating the character. Let's see. He references his cameo in the movie, like I said. In May, Ta-Nehisi Coates, whose run on Black Panther comics helped the 1.2 billion grossing Chadwick Boseman film get greenlit, backed Brubaker. In an interview with Polygon, noting that he was fortunate not to depend on comics for a living, he said, I wish that Marvel found better ways to compensate the creator who helped make Black Panther, which wasn't Ta-Nehisi Coates. That would be Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Christopher Priest, more than anybody, Christopher Priest for what they took out of the movie, if you ask me. Comic book history is full of stories of writers and artists who signed meager deals only to see their creation become icons, dating back to 1938 when Superman creators Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster signed away the character for $130. But it was unusual to hear Brubaker and Coates creators at the height of their careers. Ta-Nehisi Coates never had a height. Speak openly about the issue. It reignited a conversation about creator pay and what obligation companies have to create who signed contracts years before movies were grossing billions and media conglomerates were building streaming services on the back of their characters. I'm of two minds on this. On one hand, yeah, it's years before the movies, but there was already merchandising. Batman, the TV show, should have told people right away that if you're going to be doing this with the characters and creator rights, the whole 9 yards, then we're not doing it. How are you going to make comic books without the comic book creators? I'm sure they would have found somebody. I mean, look at it right now. All the good comic book creators, because of crap like this, are going to doing their own Kickstarters and such while we're getting what we're getting. Yeah, there's still some good artists and writers out there, just not as many in my opinion. Then again, I could have rose-colored glasses. All righty. Creators working at Marvel and DC sign work for hire contracts granting the publishers ownership over their characters and storylines. While it's relatively simple to determine who gets compensation for a character, insiders familiar with Marvel and DC contracts note that it gets murky when it comes to storylines being adapted for film. There is no concrete policy at either company. And see, that's where I think the comic book creator needs to step in and say, okay, well, here's my contract, but I'm adding in this. But a lot of times when they go up, I'm pretty sure that, especially new ones, somebody like a John Byrne or something could step up and go, no, I'm going to take control of my storylines. But they could put in that if it goes to any other media, I get compensation. Multiple comic creators have publicly stated that DC's payment for adaptations in general is higher. Comic creator Jim Starlin turned heads in 2017 when he publicly noted that Warner Brothers paid him more for a minor character that appeared in DC's Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Then he received for Marvel's major Guardians of the Galaxy characters, Thanos, Gamora, and Drax combined. Holy Toledo. Marvel, Disney, what are you doing to your creators? And that, it's not like, you know, Thanos, he was kind of a big deal, you may have noticed, during the first half of the Marvel Universe. What the, and by that I mean up until Endgame. Wow, that's, After Starlin's airing of grievances, Disney renegotiated his deal for Thanos, the villain of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Those films went on to gross $4.83 billion globally, and Starlin, while not sharing details of his deal, walked away happy. The cliche is that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, Starlin tells a Hollywood Reporter. He should have. Give him a few million of that billion. Let's see. The way these agreements are written up, Disney can be more generous if they want. It is written that they're right there that they can change the terms to make it better. There's no legal obligation to make additional payments for adaptations, with companies such as Marvel viewing these payments as thank you gifts and a way to avoid the bad publicity of warring with creator. It's shut up money, as one Marvel creator who received such payments. But also he declined to share details of compensation. Okay, well, this is where the it's clickbait title, because this is where they got the it's shut up money. All right, and apparently now it's on my video as well. Okay, the wheels go round and round. Even if companies have no legal obligation to compensate these writers and artists, paying more is akin to contract yes. Renegotiations with an actor. If a TV show or movie is a smash success, studios believe it makes sense to offer an actor more money for the sequel or the next season of TV to keep them happy. No one wants a bitter actor on set. Since the 1970s, DC creators who added a new character to the mythos have been entitled to payments from film, TV, and merchandising. Actually, that is in, oh, I don't have the book with me, but that is also in a book Eric Green recommended to me. I'll recommend to you. It's about the DC implosion. Jeanette Kahn came on and changed everything to get new creators in, gave more money to them for the characters that they create. Oh, well, like they mentioned that right here too. Okay, maybe I should just read the article. Let's have been entitled payments from film, TV, and merchandise, an idea spearheaded by then publisher Jeanette Kahn. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, for example, drew upon work of dozens of creators who received some form of compensation. Sources say Len Wein, the late Wolverine co-creator, said he received more money for creating Lucius Fox, the Batman, the character played by Morgan Freeman in the Nolan movies, than for creating the iconic X-Men hero portrayed by Hugh Jackman in 9 movies. That is freaking insane, by the way. Yeah, I don't care, man. Look, I guess I'm going to continue the article, sure. But to stop right here, there should have been something in there. Once again, okay, you know how, where do I want to start here? The companies are being dicks. We understand that. But you also got to look out for yourself. Yeah, I mean, Bob Kane, for Christ's sake, when he created when he was helped, when he helped create Batman, he put it in a contract that not only does his name get appears above the title, that he gets a piece of the action, and he freaking pushed out the other guy who helped him create Batman, which tells you could step up and say, well, yeah, I'm going to work for you, but I expect this, 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 and this. And apparently nobody said that. I know some did. Some people did. When Marvel clamped down, I believe it was in the 1980s, on their compensation, I know some people said, yeah, screw you guys, we're out of here. Okay, let me see where are we going. For years, the job of determining payments on something like The Dark Knight fell to Paul Levitz, who served as DC's president and publisher from 2002 to 2009. One payment category was money owed for creating a character. Other categories were murkier, such as comic storylines. Nolan borrowed from classic storylines like Long Halloween. And then there were categories even less easy to define. Christian Bale liked looking at Tim Sale's work before he would go out and strike a pose, says LIVESTREAMS. I'm not sure how you would value that, but when you have a movie that is as successful as Batman Begins or Dark Knight, it says that there's something there and you should say thank you in some fashion. Conventional wisdom within the comic book industry is to go to Marvel and DC to build your personal brand, then leave bringing that audience over to publishers that allow you to retain character rights. And that's what a lot of people have done and are doing. It's copyrighted by you, says comic book historian Alex Grand. When the movie people come, they are talking to you, not Marvel. Todd McFarlane was among the creators who popularized this notion as the co-founder of Image. He launched the publisher in 1992 after becoming, well, he helped launch the publisher, let's be honest here. After becoming a star writer-artist on Marvel's Spider-Man, where he co-created Venom, McFarlane gets checks for Venom, which has a new movie due out from Sony in September. You are paying the original creators crumbs, says McFarlane. The first person who says we're going to pay 3 times crumbs is going to look like a genius and have a flood of talent coming in your direction. McFarlane is taking that lesson to heart as he attempts to build out a shared universe based on Spawn, the popular character he owns and is developing into a movie with Blumhouse. I'm putting together a contract that will address that in a much more significant way, McFarlane says, of recruiting creators to contribute. Levitz had a similar point of view at DC. It's really good business, says Levitz, who is now retired. No contract can cover every possibility in a creative world. If you act in a fashion where you treat people in a way that they think they've been treated fairly, the next creative person is more interested in working for you. It goes on to say that when a creator has created dozens of characters, it could be a full-time job trying to make sure credit is given where it's due. Somebody like John Byrne. Former Marvel editor-in-chief Roy Thomas receives automatic checks for his characters. If there are issues, he takes them up with 2 Marvel employees who act as an in-between to the Disney side. Earlier this month, Thomas flagged that he wasn't being properly credited on Loki for his role in creating the Timekeepers. Well, we know who the Timekeepers are. Thomas, who is positive about his relationship with Marvel, was assured it would be fixed. On July 7th, Thomas's manager, John Cimino, skipped to the end of that week's episode and was disappointed not to see his client's name. A few days later, Cimino checked out Black Widow and was happy to confirm that Thomas was thanked for his role in co-creating Red Guardian. All righty. And on July 14th, his name finally appeared on Loki. A lot of people want that money. For me, well, wouldn't you want to have your name there forever? That actually makes a point right there. Now they talk about something I feel bad about. Credit and legacy is indeed key for many. The 2017 documentary Batman and Bill chronicles the campaign waged by the family and supporters of late Bill Finger to get writer credit as co-creator of Batman, as documented in the film. Warner Brothers offered granddaughter Athena Finger money in exchange for ending claims on the character around the release of 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. The family persisted. And in 2015, he was awarded co-creator status. Me and my brother were in the theater. It was actually me and both of my brothers went to see that. And when his name came up, we cheered. Not a lot of people knew. Some people did, and they joined us. But not a lot of people knew why we were cheering. And it was a reason to cheer. Yeah, anyway. Credit can be so important that it can even lead to a surprising behavior. THR learned of an instance in which the co-creator of an A-list DC character secretly maneuvered behind the scenes to have themselves listed as the sole creator on paper with regards to merchandise or adaptations, cutting their partner out of payments, according to a knowledgeable source. The other co-creator only learned of this maneuvering years later when a Warner Brothers theatrical employee noticed the discrepancy ahead of the release of a movie featuring the character. You're not going to name names. This is the kind of thing we come to articles like this for. The wrong co-creator now receives payments, but is said to not be on friendly terms with their former collaborator. No shiitake mushrooms. Starlin, who has made peace with Marvel over Thanos and speaks positively of his relationship there, has another 1970s creation hitting the big screen September 3rd, Shang-Chi. He notes he hasn't heard if Disney will be giving him pay beyond the paltry sum in his original deal. Let's see what happens. You may have me squeaking. Okay, so there you go. man, what can I say about that kind of stuff? Once again, they signed the contract. Unfortunately, it seems like it. Now we know. This is hindsight. You know, I can look back and go, well, they should have for whatever medium. They knew television was there, right? So they knew that was going on. They knew you would have you can have novelizations of comics and so forth. The words any media would help for miles, wouldn't it? But once again, hindsight's 2020. Man, but it's good to see that they are getting some sort of compensation. I agree with Todd McFarlane after reading a book like the Marvel Comics Untold Story. Great freaking book. There's another one I would recommend. I've got somewhere over here called Slugfest, which is Marvel versus DC, but I digress. But as you learn about this, people felt bullied because at the time there wasn't Kickstarter, there wasn't IGG and all that kind of stuff. It was just Marvel and DC, so people felt bullied into signing contracts lest they not find work because this is the way they did things. But there you go. I'm glad to see they get some sort of compensation. The title's a little bit clickbaity. I apologize for that. Overall, though, with the way the movies are, if I were a comic book creator, as soon as Iron Man came out, I would be going to my lawyers. We got to get this changed because it's going to be easier now than it will be down the road when Marvel is owned by Disney and they've got lawyers up the wazoo who sue schools over a picture on a wall. So I don't know. Anyway, there you go, gang. What'd you think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share. You know the drill. And if you like this video, why don't you try the one that's popping up right around here? I think you're going to enjoy it as well. So I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that and everyone. Well, no, I'm saying that about the Ko-Fi and the Patreon. Please go on over and drop $1 in the tip jar for me. Now I'm thanking everybody who's already done that, to everyone, all of the true believers. Thank you very, very much for watching.